What President Trump's mega law really means for Oklahoma hospitals and Medicaid recipients. The EPA debunks the conspiracy theory known as chemtrails, and Oklahoma baseball players do really well in this weekend's Major League Baseball draft. All that and headlines from around the state in your Monday morning edition of Oklahoma Memo. Well, welcome to Monday morning. My name is Ryan Welton, the founder and curator of Oklahoma Memo, and I hope you had a great weekend. We certainly did. It was a weekend at the movies. I don't get out and go see movies at the movie theater nearly enough. It was great. Friday night, a summer tradition in the Welton household, we went to Chickasha to the Chief Drive-In Theater down there. If you've never been, you really ought to go. Had a burger, had a root beer float, and we watched Superman, opening weekend of Superman. I'm not typically a superhero movie sort of guy. I don't, whenever my brothers talk about DC and Marvel, I don't really know what they're talking about. I hear DC and I think politics. I think Washington, DC. And this movie was political in many ways. I've always loved Superman because he just is always, no matter what, fighting on the side of good without any sort of Kantian ethic where he's willing to kill people to save the planet. He's going to save everybody. And anyway, it's just so positive. And in this case, he was fighting Lex Luthor, a tech billionaire. Maybe you thought it was like Elon Musk. I did. And the president of Moravia, who seemed to be a caricature of Donald Trump or Vladimir Putin or a cross between the two. The big conflict was that this country, Moravia, was trying to invade another country that I won't try to pronounce, reminded me a bit of Russia and Ukraine, and those people of that other country, the invaded country, were raising the white flag with the S on it to get Superman's attention. And I thought of Superman as a metaphor for the United States. An era where countries and peoples who were hurting would reach out to the United States because we were the country that did good around the world. We were Superman. I, you know, we live in a different world nowadays. I know that, but I think this movie's going to get a lot of people talking. And because of Superman's status as an immigrant and as an adoptee, it was both woke and pro-life all in one big political metaphoric ball. I loved it. I enjoyed it. I didn't get a lot, there's a lot of these superhero movies that I don't get in my head. Just my brain starts to drift. My superheroes are usually stars of sports movies, and that's what my wife and I saw on Saturday night. Brad Pitt. I'll watch Brad Pitt in anything. Fight Club, one of my favorite movies of all time. Moneyball, one of my favorite baseball movies. And then on Saturday night, we watched him in F1. It was a story about a racer, an old guy trying to get one more win in a sport, a league, a series that he wasn't familiar with, Formula One, which is the global racing. You've got your NASCAR, you've got your IndyCar, you've got all sorts of different types of dirt tracks and stuff at a local level, but on an international level, you've got Formula One. It was a fun movie. It was an exciting movie. I wasn't bored for 1 second, and the ending was great. And I've actually seen, I'm not going to spoil it, but what happened there at the end, I've seen that happen in dozens of NASCAR races. All I'll say is that the goal isn't to be the best driver for the entire race. The goal is to be the first person across the finish line. That's it. One of the things, I'm not going to turn this into NASCAR talk or racing talk, but one of the things I love about racing is what a team effort it really is and how much science goes into it. I got the chance several years ago when I worked for the communications team at Love's Travel Stops and Country Stores to go to Texas Motor Speedway, and I sat on pit road. I was, in the little, perch above the race. It was amazing. I watched the pit crew do their thing, and I saw the guy who takes the tires and burns the rubber off of them to get just one more second out of that Goodyear tire to get just a little bit of an advantage. It is real work. It is real competition. And I think it's one of the most fascinating sports there is. I'm a fan. I'm not a gearhead. I can barely change a tire, but I will tell you, I do love racing. All righty, let's get to the headlines. We got a couple of big stories, and we're going back to the Big Beautiful Bill, which is now a Big Beautiful Law, I guess. This headline from Jillian Taylor at StateImpact, Oklahoma. Draconian cuts, what Trump's mega bill means for Oklahoma hospitals and Medicaid recipients. What caught my attention from this story were paragraphs 3 and 4, and I quote, nearly 1 in 4 Oklahomans are on Medicaid or Sooner Care. A state-level analysis by independent health policy group KFF found that as many as 171,000 Oklahomans could lose coverage based on the bill's provisions. The package limits provider taxes and state-directed payments, imposes work requirements on adults ages 19 to 64 with certain exemptions, and increases eligibility redeterminations to at least every 6 months for adults covered under Medicaid expansion. You can read this full story at kgou.org or kosu.org. In the Oklahoma Memo, we've put a couple of paragraphs up, a picture, a headline. We give byline credit per their republication policy, but our goal is to get you to their site. And if you are so moved by the quality of their work, please consider making a monthly donation to your public radio stations. They are absolutely worth it, and I put my money where my mouth is. It's not a big donation, but I have a monthly donation that goes to both KGOU and KOSU. I also send a few dollars, not many. Don't get the wrong idea here, but I send a few dollars to Oklahoma Watch every month. They have a great story today that I want you to check out from Anna Kramer and Emily Kennard. Now, they're new to Oklahoma Memo. I don't think I've ever featured their bylines before, so I don't know if they are new hires, interns, but welcome to the rock star journalist family here at Oklahoma Memo. And their headline, it's a fascinating story. Oklahoma senators weigh in on EPA's contrails report. All right, let's go. From the story, first 2 paragraphs, the Environmental Protection Agency released a new website Thursday that debunks conspiracy theories about airplane contrails, conspiracies that are popular with the contingent of President Donald Trump's most ardent supporters, and at least one member of his cabinet. Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy, Jr., a longtime believer in the conspiracy that airplanes are spewing chemicals instead of condensation into the sky, seemed to think that the agency was planning to validate it. But they didn't. Good gravy. Look, I will tell you, just quick story time. Having worked at Griffin Media for almost 8 years and overseeing digital content for News on 6 and getting to know the great Travis Meyer, there is no faster way to annoy him than to bring up the subject of chemtrails and geoengineering for bad purposes. And again, we talked about last week, meteorologists talking about the science of cloud seeding, and I'm like, guys, these folks don't want to hear about science. So I'm glad to see that the EPA came out and said, no, RFK Jr., you're nuts. So there you have it. Quick break. Look, your business needs a podcast. Not for downloads or for vanity metrics, not even for subscribers who theoretically could turn into customers. No, podcasts in 2025 are all about a broader digital marketing strategy. They're all about audio and video. Did you know that podcasts are video also? Video clips for YouTube, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, Snap, whatever comes next. Blog posts written straight from your own conversations. That's right, those podcasts can turn into articles that go on your site that could turn into earned media. And those articles could also pop up in those AI summaries and Google snippets. That's what the next generation is using to search, to find you. But hey, who's got time to build all of that, right? Well, I do, your venerable host. My name is Ryan, the host of Oklahoma Memo, and I'm also the founder of Doable Digital Media. Send me your CEO speaking at a conference, leading a panel discussion, or even a sharp internal training, and I'll turn it into a full podcast with music, cover art, hosting, clips, the works, all included, $500 an episode. It is a bargain. Message me at ryan@doabledigitalmedia.com or news@oklahomamemo.com. Let's make this happen. Alrighty, it's time for the Oklahoma Rundown, where we curate the headlines from Guymon to Idabel, Altus to Miami, handpicked for you. In today's newsletter, there are 27 headlines in all, and we've got 10 of them for you right here, right now. Leading off from KOSU, SNAP will soon cost states millions of dollars more. What does that mean for food access? From KWGS, that's Public Radio Tulsa, Medicaid cuts will be tough for people with disability, local agency says. And from Griffin Media, your vote counts with my buddy Scott Mitchell. Oklahoma revenue hits record $16.9 billion. Lawmakers credit thunder and growth, doubt OHP patrol changes. The Tulsa World editorial board was spewing fire this weekend. Check out this headline. Our congressional delegation should be home to explain themselves. Ouch. Guthrie News page. 3 dead in southeast Logan County house fire. Cause under investigation. I believe I saw tonight that one of those who died was 8 years old. From KOCO, and this was breaking news we saw on Friday night. The first alert I got was from my buddy Patrick Spencer at K4. Headline, Jones man killed by water buffalo remembered his loving father, friend, and jokester. Okay, so let's step back from this a second. Very sad story out of Jones on Friday night. And of course, the story before that, 3 dead in southeast Logan County house fire. Incredibly sad. The Jones story, a 45-year-old man had bought a couple of water buffalo at an auction. They're, I guess, considered exotic pets, but something happened, and one of those buffalo attacked him. And I will tell you, I checked out the Facebook post tonight, and the family and friends are having a terrible time, as you might imagine. And this guy just seemed like salt of the earth, awesome person. So our condolences out to that family. And in sports this weekend, 3 Oklahoma baseball players taken in the first round of the Major League Baseball draft. When I say Oklahoma, I mean the state, not necessarily OU. OU was represented, OSU was represented, and Fort Cobb Broxton was represented. His number 1 was a surprise. Everybody thought it was going to be Ethan Holiday. No, it was Eli Willits out of Fort Cobb Broxton, selected number 1 by the Washington Nationals. Ethan Holiday was picked up number 4 by the Colorado Rockies. And Kyson Witherspoon, stud pitcher for the Oklahoma Sooners this year. I'm a Boomer Sooner. I follow Skip Johnson's team pretty closely. He was great this year. He was selected by the Boston Red Sox with the number 15 pick overall in the 2025 Major League Baseball draft. I don't know about number 15, but I do know from following this over the years that number 1 and number 4 should be 7-figure contracts. Eli Willits for sure. So any thought that he would come to OU, that's dashed. He is going to the Washington Nationals, and he'll be in the major leagues before you know it. Ethan Holiday, likewise. Kyson Witherspoon, I think 15th overall pick will probably land you in the major leagues at some point, probably with the high 6-figure or a 7-figure type of contract. I don't know that for sure, but either way, what talents. A lot to be proud of here in Oklahoma for our baseball. And that is all for another edition of Oklahoma Memo, the podcast. Please follow wherever you get your podcasts and leave this a review if you enjoyed it. That really helps. I know it takes a couple extra seconds, but if you do that, that will really, really, really help this podcast. Oklahoma Memo is a daily newsletter dedicated to connecting Oklahomans with quality journalism in a way that is painless and easy for them. A free press leads to an informed citizenry, which is vital to a healthy democracy. For Oklahoma Memo, I'm Ryan Welton reminding you that a free press frees minds. Now go subscribe at oklahomamemo.com. Alrighty, play us out.